Hey, Elvis Cup Guy here. Hey, you guys are going to want to stay tuned and watch this entire video all the way through. You're not going to believe what I'm getting ready to show you guys. First of all, let me just say this. Back in 1973, Elvis Presley played a practical joke on his dad, Vernon Presley, okay? He had Charlie Hodge put a record, a 7-inch, 45 RPM record on the jukebox there at Graceland, and Elvis played it for his dad, Vernon Presley. And Vernon actually believed that it was Elvis. It sounded so much like Elvis that Vernon thought it was Elvis Presley, his son, singing. So what I'm going to show you in this video is some of the records made by this guy. I'm going to play that song that he recorded back in 1973. I'm also going to play a song he recorded back in 1972. You're not going to believe how much he sounds like Elvis. I've got a rare interview where this guy, this mystery guy, talks about knowing that that Elvis listened to his records, and at the very end, an unseen, very rarely heard of performance by this guy, and you're not going to believe how much he sounds like Elvis. So anyway, hang tight, and it's going to start now. All right, what you guys are looking at now are a few of the Jimmy Ellis Orion 45 RPM records, 7-inch records that I have in my collection. I also have a bunch of albums and ticket stubs and autographs from Jimmy Ellis, test pressings. But anyway, for those of you that do not know who Jimmy Ellis was, he was a guy that had an uncanny ability to sound a lot like Elvis. Okay, and Shelby Singleton found out about him in the early 70s, and in 72, 73, he recorded Blue Moon of Kentucky, That's All Right Mama, you see it there, and also a song, I Use Her to Remind Me of You, and the flip side was Changing, and it's right there on the right. Well, a friend of Jimmy Ellis's gave it to a friend, and somehow they got it to Elvis, and Elvis actually got to hear these two records, and Elvis tripped out on it, how much Jimmy Ellis sounded like him. So he got Charlie Hodge to put I Use Her to Remind Me of You, with the flip side Changing, on the jukebox there in Graceland, and Elvis played it for Vernon and faked Vernon out, and Vernon thought it was Elvis Presley singing. Okay, so I'm going to play a snip both of these records for you, Blue Moon of Kentucky and I Use Her to Remind Me of You, and you judge for yourself. But, you know, Orion wore a mask. They had this gimmick where he was supposed to be, or people were led to believe that he was Elvis reincarnated, and he wore a mask to hide his identity. And he never was able to shake that image, and his career kind of went downhill. He ran a pawn shop, and unfortunately he was killed, murdered in a robbery in 1997. But anyway, I'm going to play this for you, and I'm actually going to show you a rare clip of Orion, Jimmy Ellis talking about Elvis, and I'm going to play these records for you. It's coming up now. All right, coming up next, I'm going to play for you a recording from 1972, and it is Jimmy Ellis, Orion, singing a little bit of Blue Moon of Kentucky. Hang tight, it's coming up now.
Blue moon, a blue moon, a blue moon, a keep shining bright. A blue moon, keep on shining bright. She gonna bring me back, my baby, tonight. A blue moon, a keep shining bright. I said blue moon, oh, Kentucky, let's keep on shining. Shine on the one that's gonna let me blue. I said blue moon, oh, Kentucky, let's keep on shining. Shine on the one that's gonna let me blue. But it was all that bright star shine bright, whisper high, say goodbye. Blue moon, I'm taking a shine. Shine on the one that's gonna let me blue.
All right, coming up next, I'm going to play for you guys the recording, the record that Elvis Presley played for his dad on the jukebox there at Graceland and faked his dad out. Vernon Presley thought it was actually his son Elvis singing. It was recorded by Jimmy Ellis, also known as Orion, back in 1973 on the Sun record label. And the name of the song is I Use Her to Remind Me of You, and it's coming up now.
In the morning, when the sun shines and the grass is still covered with the dew, when she touches me and awakens me, the first thing that I think about is you. Then I open my eyes and I realize, like my peaceful sleep, my dreams have vanished too. She uses me for security, and I use her to remind me of you. It gets worse every day that I live this way, and I can't offer her love that's true. It would only hurt her pride if she should hear me say that I use her to remind me of you.
All right, coming up next, I'm going to play for you guys a very rare interview with Orion. Yes, he's got the mask on, but he's also known as Jimmy Ellis. And a reporter asked Jimmy Ellis, Orion, did Elvis Presley ever hear you sing? Did he ever hear your voice? And you're going to be very surprised at what Orion says, and it's coming up now.
Did Elvis Presley ever hear your voice? Did he ever hear a tape of you?
A good friend of mine, Steve Kelly, over here, who came with. He's sitting in the room this morning. He used
We'll
to.
ring him on in a few
He used to
minutes.
travel a lot with Presley, and he said that Presley heard several of the things that I had done.
Do you know his reaction?
I don't know. He probably said, "Well, it's another character."
That's not what I've heard.
All right, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video so far, but look, I've got one more clip to show you. I've talked about Orion, Jimmy Ellis. You've heard Orion, Jimmy Ellis. You've heard the story about Elvis faking out his dad and pulling that practical joke on and playing that Orion, Jimmy Ellis record, but you have not seen Jimmy Ellis, AKA Orion, sing. Well, I've got a rare clip for you guys here at the very end. It's Orion, Jimmy Ellis with his mask on, and you're not going to believe how much he sounds like Elvis Presley. But before I show you that clip, I just want to thank you guys for watching this entire video all the way through. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, you haven't, hit the subscribe button. And if you hit the notification bell, you'll be notified whenever I put on a new video. Now, without any further delay, you're finally going to get to see footage of Orion, Jimmy Ellis, with his mask on, singing, and you're not going to believe how much he sounds like the king of rock and roll. Now, understand, I know nobody sounds just like Elvis, but this dude was pretty close. So anyway, hang tight. Until next time, this is the Elvis Cup Guy, and here comes Orion to take us out.
Love, so good to me, with those pretty blonde curls. Yes, you look so tempting, and I could not resist. But you made me act foolish, oh, just like a little